laws. This is a program that I did, and it's by John C Maxwell about leadership laws. So I want you guys to know where you can go and get the information to learn more once I kind of skim over this a little bit and tell you the highlights that I took away from this program. So the last one we talked about was called the law of the lid. That's whenever you have to set that ceiling really high on yourself to be able to go after those goals, not settle for things that are just minute and not important to you. So let's talk about our second law. That one is called the law of influence. And this is a very important law because you can't lead without influence. Let's talk about for a second, what do you think a leader looks like that leads with law of influence? Well, do you think they'd be impressive? Do you think they would be powerful? If I had two people that were standing side by side, would you be able to say that one leads by influence? No, you wouldn't be able to unless you saw that they had followers. So when a real leader leads and they speak, people listen, and then they follow and they buy into their vision. Leadership can be misunderstood sometimes, because a lot of people believe that the title is what gives them the authority to lead, and that is not true. Title doesn't have any value in leading. It can't be awarded, it can't be appointed, and it definitely cannot be assigned. The only thing that a title can buy is time to increase your level of influence and leadership, or either to underestimate it. So that is all that a title really does. So no matter whether you are, already a lead consultant, or whether you're a superstar director, or, you're, even if you're essential and you're certified, because you're going to get out there and you're going to get people on your team. But you can be a leader at any title. So don't ever believe that when I become a director, I will then be a leader. No, you are already a leader. Leaders aren't always born, they are made. They have a skill set, and they have all these collections of knowledge and information that they grow on. But we'll talk about that in a second. So there are 5 misconceptions in the law of influence in leadership, and I want to talk to you about those. The first one is called the management myth. Not the same leadership is about influencing people to follow. That's not what management is about. Management is actually about having a process and system in place to be able to maintain a direction. So leadership is more about influencing, not maintaining that direction and having a process to follow. He talks about in this study that one of the best examples of a leader, or a manager, is a little boy with a big dog, because he's going to follow the big dog everywhere he goes. He's not necessarily changing the direction by influencing where the dog's going to go. Instead, he's following the big dog. So that is a really good example of management. Leaders are going to create a positive change. Managers are going to maintain that direction. You have to have influence in order to change your direction. The second one is called entrepreneur myth. Everybody thinks that because you're an entrepreneur that you can lead. That is not true. Entrepreneurs are skilled at finding opportunities and acting on them. They are able to see a need in someone and able to meet it. There is no influence there. There is no leading there. They just have a skill set. But yeah, they can definitely lead if they influence. The next one is called knowledge myth. Knowledge is definitely power, but power is not an essence in leadership. It doesn't matter how smart you are, what your IQ is, how much education that you have. If you don't have influence, you can't lead. I had so many teachers in college that were just brilliant, but I'm not too sure they could have led me anywhere. The fourth one is pioneer myth. This is whenever someone's always out in the front, in the very front of the crowd, leading and cheering and everything like that. But just because they're first and they're in the front doesn't mean they're necessarily a leader. He talks about a guy who climbs Mount Everest first, and just because he was the first doesn't mean he was the leader. Now, when you have people follow you and follow your vision and act on what you're trying to do, that is a leader. So it's not just the trendsetter. It's someone who actually has a vision and is able to influence for them to lead. And then the fifth one is called position myth. And that is whenever you don't have to have a position in order to lead, like I was talking about earlier, because positions don't make leaders. Leaders make positions. You can't check someone's credentials and knowledge and, claims that they can profess that they can influence. The only proof of leadership is to look and see if they have followers. So he talks about a great challenge in this book, and there are a lot of activities and things in each chapter, which if you guys are really interested in, becoming more of a leader than you are, I can give you some tips and things that he has said in here, and I can let you borrow my book. But he talks about find something to volunteer and lead some people to do. Give back to a charity or a church event or a community event or something that is not necessarily like a position. It's just a volunteer kind of group where you can lead them to do something. And then you can actually practice influence and being able to see whether you can do that part in your leadership. Because you got to remember, there's no influence, you can't lead. He has a great proverb, and that is, he who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. So I thought that was great. So let's talk about our third law. Our third law is called the law of process. And life is all about building our self-worth. And it's all about following our goals and our dreams and our aspirations. But if you look at a person's daily agenda and you look at their priorities, their passion, their abilities, their relationships, their disciplines, their visions, their influences, you know who they are. You can just look at what they do consistently and tell what kind of person they are, right? So leaders are not always born, as I said. They're definitely made because they have a collection of skills and they learn and they're able to empower through this. Successful leaders will always continue to learn. They have a great self-discipline. I didn't buy into all this stuff in the very beginning. It wasn't until I saw what Scentsy was actually blessing me with and the people that were coming into my life and the lives that were changing and the things that I was able to invoke in people to be the best they possibly could. And I thought, gosh, if I'm being blessed with this, I need to know what I'm doing. So that's when I kind of started to dive in and learn more about leadership and learn more about what makes me tick in order to be a better leader for you. And now I want to be able to show you what you have in you to make you a great leader as well. Because you will be, and you are a wonderful leader. You have to believe that. Now, there are different things that people talk about. The law of process is actually seasoning yourself to become a great leader. Now, we have things like World Tour, we have convention, we have all these events that people go to in order to empower themselves and inspire. But there is a big difference between the law of process and like an event. You have events and then you have processes, and let's talk about the two. So we have World Tour, and the one here obviously is coming up in the next 2 months. And there are different things that happens at an event and different things happen in a process. So the first thing that happens at an event, when you go to an event, it encourages decisions. That's whenever you bring your guests with you or you bring someone with you and they make that decision. Yes, I'm going to change my life. Yes, I'm going to join. Yes, I am going to get out there and I'm going to share this product. But the process is whenever it encourages development. When you get home and you actually study and learn and figure out ways that you will be able to benefit people and help provide satisfaction to your customers, your hostesses, and your team. In an event, you motivate people. You get them inspired. You get them fired up. But with the process, it matures people. They get to become better at what they do, and they become seasoned. At an event, it's a calendar date. It's a calendar issue. If you can't go, you can't go. But it's a date on your calendar. And then process is a culture issue. It's something you do every day. It's something that, like I said earlier, it seasons you. It makes you become better than you are. It is a process. It's not just one day. An event challenges people. They give you all kinds of things like booking challenges and recruiting challenges and, self-discipline challenges. A process changes people. You go home, you get into the word or you get into these books and you get into these programs and you start to change from the inside out and you start to really love who are you starting to become. At an event, it's easy. You show up, you get there, you get inspired, you leave. But if you don't do the process, you lose everything that you just went for. And then the process is difficult. It's hard. You have to show up every day. You show up, you go up. You do all these things and you start to see the fruit of it in your life. But you have to be consistent. That is definitely hard. But the more and more you do it, the better you feel and the more you're going to want to do it. So if I want to be inspired, I'll go to events, right? But if I want to improve and engage in a process and stick to it, I know I'm going to be a better me. So events are wonderful. Please go to them. But make sure that you engage yourself in a process when you get home to go through and season yourself to become a better leader. Now, there are phases in leadership. I don't know where you are yet, but let's talk about the different phases. The first one is called I don't know what I don't know. That's because as long as a person doesn't know what he doesn't know, they don't know that they can grow. They don't have an idea of the opportunities that are being passed up because they don't know that they can lead. They don't learn to lead. Why not just give yourself a chance? See if you can learn to lead. If you like it, I promise you, it is the most gratifying feeling I have to watch you guys do well. I watch you grow and come into your own. It is an awesome feeling. Number 2 is I know that I need to know. That's when you're placed into a position and you're placed there to lead and be in charge and you look around. Where is everybody? There is no one there. So you're put in charge, but yet you're not leading yet. The third one is I know I don't know. Well, that's whenever you have to look and you say, what is my personal plan for me for my personal growth? What is my business plan for my personal growth? That is when you have to look now and see what are you going to do to get better tomorrow. The fourth one is I know and grow, and it starts to show. That's the secret of success in life. That's when a man is to be ready for his time when it comes. I know God has a calling on my life. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to try and be ready for it when it comes, whether it's staying with this forever or staying with this and doing something else. But I know I'm being called to something, and I want to be the best I can be whenever I get to that point. So that's why I try and stay educated on things and doing these programs and making me a better me and looking inward and seeing what I can change to make it better. So that is whenever you do start to grow. And then the last one is called Simply Go Because of What You Know. That's it. That's when you're there. That's when you've become that leader that you want to be. It's automatic. You have these great instincts on how to lead. And you have obeyed the law of process. And you've seasoned yourself with all the experiences and all the knowledge that you've gotten on the way. And if you don't go by this law of process, then you pay a price because you get there too quickly and you don't know exactly what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to challenge you guys to go get a book, to go get a CD, to stream something into your computer, put it on your iPod and listen to it, put it on your phone while you're driving in the car. Do something that will help you grow as you, as an individual, and in your business. Because I promise you, the more you learn, you're going to want to share it. You're going to want to shout it from the rooftops. Did you know that this can change your life? And you'll be doing these webinars and you'll be telling your team, that this works for you and this works for you. And you'll be able to see what works for them. And you'll be able to just manage it and mold it to be their own. Because you don't want to cookie cut yourself and want everybody like you. No, you want everyone to tap into their true potential and be themselves. Your true north is your values. And so when you put your values out there, you know that you are definitely in the right direction. As long as when you make decisions and they don't go against your values, or they go against your values, you know it's the wrong thing. And that's part of becoming a leader. You start to be able to weigh things against your values. And you'll be able to teach other people these kind of things too, whenever you get into this leadership place. But all of these 21 irrefutable leadership laws, you put them into place and it makes you a better you. And when I started this program, wow, I saw where I had so many weaknesses and I've been working on them to become strengths, to be able to share them with you, for you guys to grow also. And this has just been an amazing program. So I hope you guys enjoy this. This is going to be a lot of fun.